In front of me today, I have a document that contains two lists. To be more specific, two lists of New Year's resolutions, one from 2023 and one from 2024. I have my last 2 years of New Year's resolutions in front of me today, and I'm going to react to them with you. Did I accomplish my New Year's resolutions? Did I fail miserably? Did I fall somewhere in between? What can we learn from the past 2 years of my New Year's resolutions? Now in hindsight, what can we learn about the concept of New Year's resolutions? What can we learn about myself? What can we learn about the world? Today we're going to be looking at my New Year's resolutions for the past 2 years, reacting to them, and seeing what we discover along the way, okay? Because I can almost guarantee we will discover at least something sort of interesting. Before we begin, I should clarify my stance on New Year's resolutions because the conversation around New Year's resolutions every year tends to be a bit polarizing. A lot of people think New Year's resolutions are pointless. Making a bunch of goals at once is overwhelming for the average person, and nothing ends up coming of it except for disappointment. Other people believe that it's incredibly helpful and that we need a reset every once in a while. And the new year is a great time for that. It's a day on the calendar that holds a lot of weight because it is the sign of a new year. Even for the hardest working person who is the most wrapped up in the daily minutia of their life and work has to stop on New Year's and say, okay, we're opening a new page of our book. This is a new chapter. And there's something about that that can help even the most rigorously busy person reset and stop for a second and think about what changes should be made in their lives. So I'm of the belief that we should all do what works for us. I think New Year's resolutions are neither good nor bad. I used to kind of hate them. I used to be a hater. I'm not anymore. I see the value in it. And for the last 2 years, I was like, let me just give it a try. And I will say, I wrote these resolutions in the beginning of the year and did not return to them again. I didn't check up on them on a monthly basis. So my New Year's resolutions for me were more of a seed planted. And I see a lot of value in planting seeds because it's more impactful than you would think. So without further ado, let's begin. 2023 New Year's resolutions. Let's go through one by one and discuss. Number 1, find the hobbies that excite me and lean into them. Have I really done that? Unfortunately, I would say no, I haven't. And it's very clear to me why that is. I really have a hard time making time for hobbies because even though I'm somebody who preaches to myself and to others the importance of a quality of life, it has been very hard for me in the past to prioritize hobbies over two other very time-consuming, important elements of my life that seem to make it hard for me to find time to do anything else. Number 1, my work and my career. And number 2, my social life with my closest loved ones. That means my family, significant other, best friends. Those two things take up 99% of my time. I have yet to find time for hobbies. And it does make me sad because I do see the value in hobbies, and I've had brief stints of finding the time for hobbies, and it's been incredibly fulfilling and exciting and fun for me. However, it's not sustainable. I haven't found a sustainable model for it yet. I will mention, though, that a lot of my career actually includes things that are also my hobbies. So to an extent, I do fulfill the hobby desire in my career. A certain portion of my working life is stuff that used to be hobbies for me. So I am in a unique situation where I do still get to have fun with my hobbies, but I do think it's healthy once you start making money from your hobby, if that's something that occurs in your life, to then make more hobbies. You need to have something that you do for you, not for money, not to impress other people, just for you. And I don't know why it's not sustainable. It might be because I'm barking up the wrong tree. Forcing yourself to get into a hobby that doesn't click for you can be really disappointing, and it can end in failure, you know? And maybe that's why I've never been able to stick to a hobby, because I just haven't found the one that sticks. Or maybe I'm underestimating certain hobbies that I have in my life that come to me really easily, to the point where they don't even feel like a hobby because they're just a part of my routine. A good example of that would be, I love going to yoga classes and Pilates classes, and I enjoy exercise a lot, all different forms of exercise. Like, to me, that is not really even a hobby. That's just like a part of my life. But that is a hobby. So maybe my perspective on hobbies is off. And like, things like exercise should be considered more of a hobby. Like, I don't know. But I don't have the hobby thing figured out. If I look at my own life, I don't see myself being a person with a lot of hobbies. Okay. And I know people who are. People who play instruments just for fun. People who garden just for fun. People who, I don't know. Like, I hike and yoga, and like I do a lot of exercise. So I guess those are my hobbies currently. But I guess maybe I want more creative hobbies, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm not somebody who has a lot of hobbies, so that has not really come to fruition yet. Okay, number 2, resilience against the internet. Stop being so scared of it. Have fun with it. Just recently in 2024, do I feel like I am back and I'm not afraid of the internet anymore. I talked about this in my episode about having a meltdown recently. The title of that episode has the word meltdown in it, so you'll be able to find it. Talking about my fear of the internet and how that's sort of tortured me over the last few years. I've definitely had a really hard time posting on the internet and making things for the internet over the last few years, because I've been living in fear of the witch hunt, of the internet, being canceled. Honestly, I'm more afraid of being canceled for something I didn't do than being canceled for something I did do. Because if I did do it, then I can say, hey, I did do that and it was fucking stupid and I'm sorry. And here's what I learned from it and here's why I won't do it again. And like, that doesn't scare me because it's real and it's true and it's something I can speak to. I can speak to it because I fucking did it. I can say why I did it. Like, I'm in control of that. But, people get canceled for shit that they didn't do or for stuff getting taken out of context just as often as people get canceled for stuff that they really did do, that they actually deserve to sort of get some pushback for. And the whole thing, I think, is very frightening to me and uncomfortable for me. And I'm afraid of it bleeding into my real life and ruining my real life. And, the internet's very fickle and unforgiving. And, there's like the most insane level of standards for humanity on the internet. Everyone has to be perfect to sail by unscathed. And, that's sort of an impossible thing to do. It's impossible to be perfect. So I really have struggled with that for the last few years. And I've struggled with an extreme level of perfectionism, trying to make me feel in control, to lessen my fear. And it's put me in a really miserable place mentally, where I don't enjoy being on the internet. I'm afraid of it. And that sucks because this is my job and it's a job that I dreamed of having, or I never even dreamed of having. It was like something that started to happen. And then I was like, holy fuck, I never even fathomed this as a possibility. Now I'm here and I'm so grateful. But then, I was overcome with fear in a way that I couldn't control. So it made it miserable. And that's a shame, and I, even in 2023, was aware of how unhealthy that was and how, I need to figure out a way to not be afraid anymore. And it did not happen in 2023, I'll tell you that. But it recently has happened for me. And I think it's because I hit a limit. I had been scared for so long that the fear itself was causing more harm than what I was scared of happening would. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was scared of the internet being mean to me. I was scared of the wrath of the internet. But my daily life became worse than the wrath of the internet. Does that make sense? Because I was torturing myself. So then I hit my limit. I had a freak out and I was like, I'm not going to be afraid anymore because I fucking can't. It's like, this is my only option. I either quit being on the internet to relieve the pain or I just fucking get over it. And sometimes that's what you have to do to get over stuff, to stop being afraid of stuff. You have to say, I just can't be afraid anymore. I cannot survive another day of being afraid. So I just have to choose to not be afraid anymore. And there's something kind of annoying about that because it's like, well, fuck, why didn't I do that sooner? But sometimes the only way to get to that point is to let fear be an issue in itself to a point where your only option is to stop. I do think I'm having fun with the internet again. I'm not afraid of it. My relationship to it is improving rapidly. And yeah, I'm just not afraid anymore. But it's something that I think only time could bring to me, I don't think it should have been a New Year's resolution in a way because I don't think I even had control over when it happened. I tried time and time again to try to fix my relationship to the internet and it just took time. Next, I said, use social media for posting instead of looking. Retrain my brain to go to healthier sources of entertainment when I'm bored. This is another thing that only got resolved recently, I think, through having two phones. I've talked about this a lot. I won't go into detail, but basically, I have two phones now. One that has social media and addictive apps on it, like food delivery and all the bad stuff, right? And then my day-to-day phone has only the healthy stuff. Spotify, occasionally YouTube if I have a good relationship with YouTube at the time. And then, of course, all the apps for work and the book app, all that stuff. Audible, you get the deal, like all that shit. And I will say, like, I do not doom scroll at all anymore on Instagram. I used to doom scroll on Instagram. Now I'll go around Instagram a little bit, check in on what's going on with my friends and my loved ones every time I post something, but I'm not spending time scrolling anymore. And it is truly, I never thought it'd be possible, but I'm here. I did it. It took an extreme measure, but the extreme measure worked. And now I'm no longer addicted to doom scrolling anymore. And it is fucking awesome. So I did do that. That's kind of awesome. Okay, next I said, associate less of my self-worth in my physical body. Find it in my heart and my mind. This is something that I think is hard for majority of young people. I think a lot of us hold our worth and our value in the way that we look because unfortunately that plays a role in our day-to-day life. Like I think when you're younger, your physical body is more of a topic of conversation. Whereas like when you get older, everybody gets wrinkles. Everybody starts having skin that's flabby in weird areas. Everybody's face looks less youthful because you're older. It's like what fucking happens? You're aging, which is beautiful and great, but challenging for a lot of people. But also, I think a lot of times, and I've talked about this with my parents who are in their mid to late 50s, and they both are like, being older has set me free. I'm not as concerned about what I look like. I've especially talked about this with my mom because I think there's a different relationship. Like women have a very, I don't know, I don't want to stereotype or like generalize, but I do think that women have a very particular relationship to their beauty, So I've talked about this a lot with my mom and she's like, I just don't care anymore. Like we're all old now, who fucking cares? I just want to be happy and fulfilled and feel good and make good memories. Like she's not as concerned about her physical body anymore. Her value is not in her physical body anymore. She wants to be helpful to people. She wants to work hard. She doesn't care about being a hottie anymore. And I think being on the internet and just being somebody in my early 20s, almost mid 20s, but right now early 20s still, I would say, like, I think it's inevitable that I'm going to hold my self-worth in how I look by default. And, I'm constantly working on combating that. And it's an ongoing journey. I will say, if I think back to myself in 2023 versus today, I think I definitely associate less of my self-worth in my physical body and more in my heart and mind. I absolutely do think I've improved. Do I think I have a lot more to improve on? Yes. But I think that that's going to be an ongoing journey. I think the way that I've been able to associate less of my self-worth in my physical body is honestly by doing a few things. I think number one, by focusing on wearing clothes that make me feel like myself and make me feel really comfortable. The more I lean into my personal style and just own that and not worry about if it's repetitive or if I'm not experimenting enough, the more I lean into my personal style and the more that I improve on becoming a good person, the less I'm concerned about my physical body. Also, the more I surround myself with people who treat me right, that for some reason impacts where I hold my worth. I don't know why, but like when I'm around people who genuinely I can tell love me for who I am as a human being, that then allows me to see the value I bring as a human being, which allows me to put more of my value there. Whereas when I'm with people who I just can't really tell if they even value me as a human being, then I'm like, and then I start to put my value in places where it shouldn't be, such as my physical body. Anyway, I have still a long ways to go with that, but I do think I've improved. Next, be more thoughtful about how I spend my money. I did not do that in 2023. However, again, I feel like I'm having some sort of fucking renaissance in my life. Like I'm completing 2023's New Year's resolutions now, which is very interesting. But that's a sign that by making these New Year's resolutions, I clearly planted a seed in my brain. And it didn't sprout immediately, but now it's blooming today. I recently am having an entire perspective shift on how I spend money, especially on things like clothes, because I used to for sure have a shopping addiction, which I think most of us do. It's normalized in our culture today. And just recently I had the epiphany like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm wasting my money, but also I'm creating clutter in my life. This is a nightmare. This is stupid and ridiculous. I don't need to wear a different outfit every day. I don't need to be wearing a different outfit every time I post on Instagram. What the fuck type of unsustainable, delusional perspective have I been existing in? This is honestly embarrassing, but also understandable because of my career and also, the world that we live in today. But like, holy shit, I can't do this anymore. And I have changed my perspective completely. And I mean, I've always been good about not spending my money on dumb stuff, for the most part. I think clothes being the exception. I definitely am not an irresponsible spender. I would not say that. If you ask anyone in my life, including my fucking accountant or the person who helps me with my taxes or what, I am not an irresponsible spender. However, I definitely used to have a shopping addiction. I wasn't spending money on a lot of expensive things, but like just a lot of things. That meant going to the thrift store, going to the flea market and buying fucking a bazillion things. You know what I mean? Like going on Amazon and ordering a bunch of gadgets. You know what I'm saying? That was the shopping addiction. It wasn't an expensive addiction, but it was an addiction to the action. And then I just gathered too many things. So more recently, I have become more thoughtful about how I spend my money. So I've finally done that. Wow. I'm like kind of slaying on my 2023 resolutions. I will say none of those things came true in 2023, but now in 2024, they have come true. So that's kind of awesome. Next, number 6, I said, make more time / prioritize projects that excite me. I did not do that. And I have not done that. I've been actually quite bad at that for many years. I tend to get obsessive when it comes to my work, and I will obsess about every single detail to the point where it leaves no time to do projects that are just fun for me. You know what I mean? Like there's certain projects that I work on in my career that are lucrative. They're profitable, if you will. I make money from them. And I tend to be so obsessive about making sure that those things are perfect that then I don't have time to work on any projects that are like just for me, just for my soul, So I've not done that and I need to work on that. Next, number 7, I said, spend more time being grateful for the present moment rather than stressing about the future. I think I could still be better about that. I think I've probably improved on it just through mindfulness and planting the seed. Like, I don't think there's any sort of recipe for that, but I also think I could still improve on that. Last but not least, I said, stop getting overly attached to people I love out of fear of losing them because I have such an unusual life. Try to find peace, confidence, and fulfillment within myself instead. I mean, I think this is going to be a challenge for me for the remainder of my life. However, I do think that I'm slowly but surely becoming more self-reliant. And, it's interesting because I think in retrospect, I think a way that I improved this was by building relationships with people who actually reciprocate my love and attention and appreciation. In 2023, there were people in my life that did not reciprocate my love for them, did not reciprocate my attention to them, did not reciprocate my availability to them, did not reciprocate. And I put up with that. And I think, it psychologically was challenging for me, even more so than it would normally be, because I do have such an unusual sort of circumstance in my life where I have an unusual career. And it is maybe a bit harder in some ways for me to make friends sometimes. It's also easier in some ways, but it's also harder in other ways because of how I'm perceived. Because I'm in the public eye, it's very complicated. And that's a challenge anyway. But what I didn't realize was it wasn't that I needed to find more peace, confidence, and fulfillment within myself, but rather I needed to be choosing the right people. I needed to have the right friends, be dating the right people. You know what I'm saying? Like that is how you let go, is when you are with somebody, when you surround yourself with people that you genuinely trust. Those people then not only make you feel safe so that you don't feel unhealthily attached, but also they believe in you and they show you your own value and strengths, and they empower you to find peace, confidence, and fulfillment within yourself. They don't take that away from you. Whereas people who are half in, half out of your life, they're not fully committed to you, they're not reciprocating, your energy. Those people do not help you find peace, confidence, and fulfillment within yourself. They do not help instill that in you. They do the opposite. They tear it away from you. So I would say I'm better than ever at that. I still do get sometimes, overly attached to, not overly attached, but I definitely in a way have a dependence, not a dependence though either, but there are people that I cherish so deeply in my life that sometimes it's painful. But I don't think that that's bad. I think what I was referring to in 2023 was an unhealthy attachment. Like an unhealthy, deeply, I need this person or else I will die, type of attachment to people. And I just don't have that anymore because everybody in my life is they empower me in a way. I don't know how to explain it. It's so odd. So that was the end of my 2023 New Year's resolutions. And overall, what I learned was it was not pointless for me to make these New Year's resolutions, because even though in 2023 they didn't come to fruition, that seed was fucking planted. And now in 2024, here I am, here I fucking am. And I've accomplished most of those things, but it took a little bit more than a year. And that's maybe something to consider, I guess, if you're somebody who, gets frustrated because you look back at your New Year's resolutions from last year and you're like, fuck, I didn't do any of this. It's okay to keep the same list year after year. It's just good to plant the seed. So speaking of that, let's go to 2024 and see my success rate for this past year. My assumption is that this year did not go as well. A lot of the New Year's resolutions from 2023 didn't carry over because I kind of gave up. I was like, I guess I'm not going to do these things. It didn't work last year, so I guess I need to take a different approach. So the lists are actually quite different. 2023 is far deeper than 2024. I feel like 2024 is a much more surface level sort of list of resolutions. But anyway, let's see what I wrote down. Number 1, I said read more books. Didn't do it. Actually, I think I did read more books in 2024 than I did in 2023. However, the list is very, very short. I read probably 3 books this year. That was it. 3 books. And I'm not proud of that. But the truth is, I'm not a reader by nature. I love reading. I want to be a reader. I'm not a natural reader. I'm not somebody who's just always loved reading. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not me. But I do love whenever I get into a reading phase. And I think reading is really important. And it's something that I need to be better at. But I only read like 3 books this year. And that is not great. So I have a great long reading list on Goodreads of books that I want to read. There's no shortage of books. I have a bunch of books. My dad gave me all of his classic books, like, the classic stuff, like To Kill a Mockingbird, which I never read, which is weird because most people read that in school, but that was never in my curriculum. We read other books. But yeah, I have all these classic books. I need to get after it. But I still want to finish Crime and Punishment one day. That's a book I've been reading for probably 4 years now. I cannot fucking get through it. It is a nightmare. It's a classic book. It's very hard to read, but it's very good, but it's very hard to read. And it's very long. And I don't know if I'll ever get through it. But yeah, so I failed that one, I would say. I mean, if I read a book a month, I would say I succeeded. If I read a book every other month, I would say I succeeded. But 3 books, nah, that doesn't count. So yeah, but it's because I spend so much time, using my brain in challenging ways throughout my day for work purposes, whatever. And then when I'm not doing that, like, I love talking to people and like socializing with my family and friends. By the time the day ends, I don't have any energy to read. I just want to go to bed. Like, I don't even know where I'd fit reading into my schedule. So that's the issue there. Next, watch more movies. I haven't really done that. I wanted to watch more movies because I don't really like watching movies, to be honest. I enjoy them occasionally, for sure. But I don't know. I'm not ever like excited about the idea of watching a movie, but I want to watch more movies because I think there is a lot to learn from movies for me specifically as a person. Like, I'm a very visual person. I love visual art, I mean, I also love music. I mean, I love all forms of art, as we all do. I'm a human being. But like, I love visual things. I love really beautiful imagery. I love really beautiful video. Like, I love that stuff. But yet, I don't like watching movies. And there's so many movies that are so beautifully shot. Like, I would love to watch more movies so that I could expand my book of reference in my brain. But I just fucking hate sitting down for a movie. So I did not watch more movies this year, but it's the same thing as the books. It's like, I don't know when I fit that into my schedule. By the end of the day, I'm like, let me just fucking watch a YouTube video. I love YouTube. I'm sorry. I love YouTube. And honestly, maybe I just need to watch more YouTube videos. That's what I like. I don't like fucking movies. I just don't like it. It's not my favorite form of escapism. I don't like books. It's not my favorite form of escapism. I love YouTube. Maybe the problem is not that I don't make time for movies and books, and I should. Maybe the problem is I just need to do what I enjoy when it comes to unwinding, and that's watching YouTube. Maybe I need to not fight it. I don't know. Moving on. Only go on social media to post. Yes, as we know. I have accomplished that because that was also on 2023's and I did it. So that's great. Next, work more at my desk, less in my bed. I have done that. I've always loved working in my bed. If you look at the cover art for Anything Goes podcast, it is a illustration of me recording a podcast in my bed. Okay. You'll notice. And yeah, I mean, I've always loved working in my bed, because it's comfortable and I feel like I can get more done when I'm in bed because if I'm really physically comfortable, then I am not thinking about like physical discomfort and I'm able to focus on work harder and feel more mental discomfort. Like, my threshold for mental discomfort is higher. But I started to get to a point where working in bed was having a negative impact on me mentally because I was in my bed all day. It was like by the time the day would end and it'd be time to go to bed, I was like, I haven't moved all day. There's something about the act of sitting at a desk, not in your bed, getting your work done, and then once you're done with your work, leaving that environment and getting to go to your bed, which is now a sacred space. Having the bed as a sacred space that signifies it's time to go to sleep is very beneficial. And I now see the value in that. And I have been able to accomplish that. Honestly, just through habit, like setting up the desk in a way that's really functional for me, that makes me want to come sit here and do my work. I have a comfortable chair. I have, a certain way that I sit in my chair with my legs up on the desk. I have like all the things I need. I have a little coaster. I have my little cups. I have tissues. I have everything set up very comfortably, so that this is a little safe space for me to get my work done. All right. So that was successful. Next, I said, manage my time better. Improve my overall productivity so that I have more time to experiment in my life. I feel like I kind of discussed this in 2023. Did I? Maybe I didn't. I guess I didn't. Okay. Well, I don't think I've done this very well. I mean, I definitely do think that my productivity over the past year has improved a lot. Honestly, part of me thinks that that's just maturing and being able to be more structured and regimented in my life. Like, I think I'm just more mentally stable so I can get up and like get my shit done. I don't know. I think my productivity is good. So I think I've done half of this. I think I have improved my overall productivity, but that hasn't led to more time to experiment in my life. It's just led to me getting more work done, which is great because I've been very productive, but I need to now be like, all right, Emma, we have to sacrifice some of that productive time to being productive for things that are not like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to dedicate some of that time to experimenting. So, and then last but not least, another one of this is basically finding hobbies from 2023. Learn a bunch of new things. I have on here improving my photography, videography skills. I haven't really done that. Play guitar, drums. Haven't done that. I completely fell off of playing drums. Fully have a drum kit and guitars in my house. In my defense, I have a lot of musicians in my life, including my father. So like, it's not like this stuff never gets touched or used. Like, there's other people in my life who love to come play with it and stuff. But I have it in my house. I might as well. It's kind of stupid. I should at least learn how to play it. Unfortunately, I can't really play guitar because I love having long nails. So I have to make a choice there. And then last but not least, learn how to score stuff for my own benefit. Like, when I make little videos or long videos or whatever, it'd be so nice to know how to use some sort of music production software on my computer, whether that would be fucking GarageBand, okay, even GarageBand, or like if I become more good at it, like I guess Logic. I don't even know what any of that fucking stuff is, but learn how to make little ambient scores for things that I make. Like, even if I were to make like a fucking Instagram reel, okay, it'd be nice to know how to make music for that. I have people in my life who can make music for that for me, and that's awesome, but it's like I would like to be able to do it. I don't know. I could ask, but also be cool if I could do it. So yeah, I would love to do all those things. I'd love to learn how to do those things, but I didn't in 2024. I've learned to do none of those things. So 2024 was definitely less successful. However, as we learned from 2023, I have planted seeds, my friend. I have planted seeds. And that's kind of a beautiful thing. I took like 20 minutes this morning to write down my 2025 New Year's resolutions. Low stakes. We'll see what fucking happens. But I thought I'd run through them. And I don't know, it'll be interesting to see what happens in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now. I feel confident that by planting the seed now, it'll bloom eventually. So I present to you my 2025 New Year's resolutions. This is a work in progress. More things will probably be added eventually. Okay, number 1, maintain clear goals for my life. I can become really overwhelmed with all of the different opportunities that pique my interest. I can sort of feel directionless at times when it comes to what I dedicate my time towards, what I work towards, because I have a lot of different ideas. And that is cool and nice, and not fully a negative thing to be somebody who like has a lot of things that they're excited about, a lot of things that they want to try. However, I do think that it leaves me not spending my time wisely. Like, if I had a clear goal, having clear goals helps you make clear decisions on what to do with your time so that you can actually accomplish things. So I think 2025, I'd like to have and maintain clear goals for my life so that I can actually figure out what to dedicate my time towards. And that leads me to number 2, be intentional about dedicating my time towards things that are leading me closer to my ultimate goals in life and my career. So, I have certain career goals, which I will not be discussing because I like things to be able to change and evolve if needed. I don't like to speak things out loud until they're done for the most part. I think it's good practice. I'd recommend it. So, I have certain career goals. I will not mention them. We'll all find out together if they actually happen or if they evolve into something else. But then also, I have goals for my personal life, just me as a human being. And those are other things that, well, I can talk about those. I have talked about this before. I would like to have a family one day, be married, have babies. When I was younger, did not think I would want that. But then I grew up and I was like, I would love that. I actually think I must do that. And that's very important to me. So now it's very important to me. And I'm 23. I'm very young, but I will probably have children in 5 years. That is not that long of a time from now. 5 years kind of flies by. And I want to work through as much of my bullshit as possible before then. You know what I mean? So that's a priority for me. Working through as much of my bullshit as possible so that I can be a good mom and a good wife and a good person to be around for my family. That's an important thing for me. Okay. But also, another priority for me on a personal level is working on becoming a more dynamic person, being well read, having more hobbies. These things make you a more dynamic person. And that's important to me as well. And that's something I want to improve upon. So yeah, be intentional about dedicating my time towards things that are leading me closer to my ultimate goals in my life and career. Taking steps every day to get closer to those goals. Number 3, buy the least amount of stuff possible. Consume less, okay? I'm already doing really well, but I'm now in sort of the maintenance game. And that is what I'm fighting for here. Let's maintain this good habit that we've got, because it's one thing to quit, it's another thing to prevent a relapse. It's a whole other journey. So keeping the shopping addiction at bay. Okay. Next, 2025, I'd love to help more people, whether it's in small ways, just being more thoughtful, somebody fucking drops things all over the ground, showing up and helping them. I can't remember the last time that happened in front of me and that there was an opportunity to help. But if it fucking happens, I want to be there to help, finding more volunteering opportunities, stuff like that, just helping people as much as possible, because that's fucking obvious that there's no, I don't need to explain that one. That's very obvious. And then we have some reoccurring ones. Read more books. Hopefully this year I get to read more books. Or maybe this year I realize I'm going to read books when I fucking feel like it. Stop pressuring yourself to read books, Emma. It doesn't work in your lifestyle right now. That's not the way that you're choosing to learn and entertain yourself and soothe yourself. It's okay. You'll read again. Life is long. You'll read again. We'll see. But also learn a bunch of new things, maybe for real this time. Basically everything that I listed before. Various musical endeavors that it sounds steep to learn. I feel like we'll see, but hey, you never know. Improving photography and videography skills. And I would also like to improve my barista skills. This year, I just recently bought for my home a new espresso machine, and I really want to learn how to properly, I really want to master it, because there is an art to it, and I really want to master it. So that's another thing that I want to improve. And that's it. I'll probably add more to that list. Maybe I won't. I mean, I think that's kind of it. And we'll see what happens. Let me know your New Year's resolutions if you made any on social media at Anything Goes. New episodes of Anything Goes every Thursday and Sunday. Thanks for hanging out. It is always a pleasure. I can't wait to touch base in a year and see what happened with my New Year's resolutions. We will see. Find me on social media at Emma Chamberlain to watch what I'm doing on social media and see if you can pick up on me following any of my New Year's resolutions. We'll see if you'll be able to tell. If you see me re-wearing the same clothes over and over again, that means I have not gone shopping, which is a good thing. If I post photos of GarageBand or Logic open on my computer, that means I am figuring out how to use it. And if I'm using a little caption that says studio days, then you know I've really lost my mind. So Godspeed to all of us. 2025 is almost here. Let's make it a fucking good one. All right, let's make it a fucking great one. I'm saying that as though I'm not going to speak to you again before the year ends. I will be speaking to you. I'll be speaking to you in a few days, actually. So I'll talk to you then. Okay, I love you all. Appreciate you all. And goodbye.